I started noticing the transition from heroin to fentanyl about 3 years ago. People started, this lady downtown was swearing up and down that she had China White for sale and selling dime bags of what she was claiming was China White. And I had already tried fentanyl at that point from a random source, just with some friends. So when I tried it, I knew right off the bat that this wasn't a heroin high. I couldn't put my finger on it at first, but eventually I realized it was just fentanyl. And then eventually the blues started showing up, probably a year after that. And I just never really took to that, So I just, stuck with what I did and what I knew, which was my heroin, and pretty much stayed true to my habit up until it became so difficult to maintain that, I had to switch to the fentanyl, unfortunately. The difference between a fentanyl high and a heroin high is like night and day. Especially if you do intravenous use with the needles. You get a rush from the heroin and pins and needles, and just the euphoric feeling of, I don't even know, bliss for hours, as well as potentially a nod that typically you don't notice is happening until somebody wakes you up. And it has what people call legs, so the high lasts for hours before it starts wearing off, and you want another fix. But the fentanyl high, whether you smoke it or shoot it, is basically the same thing. If you shoot it and it's good enough, you get a nap, and enjoy, however long you slept with that nap, or you get stressed out because you didn't get high enough to catch a nod, and so now you're just stressing about your next fix or complaining about not being high enough. And if you just smoke it, then same thing without the rush. The fentanyl doesn't give you rush or pins and needles or any of that. It gives you a kind of a small rush when you dab it, but it's completely different than if you were to shoot it. You don't get a rush from shooting it either. When you shoot it, you get a nap usually, if you're lucky. Oh, the difference between a fentanyl withdrawal and a heroin withdrawal is actually the straw that broke my camel's back when it came to getting fed up with it, because I don't know how many years I was a heroin addict, straight, but in my time I'd been arrested multiple times and forced to detox, at random. And any opiate addict will tell you it's like living hell, You feel miserable, you're uncomfortable, you're sweating, you got the restless legs, nauseous, not feeling good. Sometimes you'd be puking and having bubble guts and explosive diarrhea, but I never really typically had issues with puking, maybe bubble guts, but that was kind of the worst of it. But the fentanyl withdrawal would have me paralyzed, basically, either on my bed or if I was in jail on my cot, puking off the side of my bed for about 3 days until I would have enough energy to, actually get up and start running to the bathroom to actually puke. It it's awful. Like, it's straight poison, I feel like. You know, the benefit of being an addict is not nearly as you know, beneficial as it used to be with the heroin, in my opinion. So I just gotta leave it alone now. Oh, since fentanyl's taken over, the streets have gotten so much grimier, both with the addicts and smokers, as well as just all around general environment. It's dirty. Nobody is picking up after themselves, you know, just trashing not only the space everybody hangs out at, but the stores, as you can see all around behind me and in front of me. Everything's closing down because they're sick of all the bullshit that these smokers be pulling, you know, whether it be stealing or just plain causing problems with management. And like, since, you know, like, such a easy, like, drug to obtain, especially as the pill form with the blues, it's got younger and younger kids getting into it. It's sad to see, you know, and they're just going to be throwing their lives away fucking before they even realize, like, you know, their life had a chance to begin. Where I see things headed in terms of fentanyl, either as a long-term user, is a certain death at one point or another, regardless whether, you know, you have friends around you at all times or not, because eventually somebody's gonna fall asleep and not notice that you're not breathing, which is, you know, how so many people die out here these days, because the drug is just so strong and unregulated with all these, you know, super labs cooking it up and whatnot and pressing it into pills or powder. You don't know what doses you're getting. It's Russian roulette basically with every dime bag you buy. Unless they develop a better, like, reintegration program for these dope fiends out here who only know how to steal and not contribute to society or hold down, you know, a job of some sort or get some sort of, like, reliable, consistent pay. Yeah, it's just gonna be fucking the same shit we're seeing now, only worse, you know? One solution for the fentanyl crisis, the only solution I can really see for the fentanyl crisis is much like the weed, is to criminalize it, tax it, legalize it, and fucking, you know, regulate it so that way people aren't being so risky and, you know, putting God knows what into their body from, you know, God knows who. My hopes for the future of society